Hello, I'm Casey Wilson, owner of Roseville Strength and Conditioning in beautiful Roseville, California, and I'm one of your co-hosts of the Do or Do Not podcast. And this is
the co-host with the least amount of host. Feeling a little sad today.
Why? Because they canceled the Batman 2?
No, what we're going to talk about, I feel like if we had a flag, it should be like half mast
for all the 80s and 90s movie fans.
Yes.
So Val Kilmer, it was announced last night, passed away. So
huge part of my 80s childhood.
80s, 90s. I mean,
yes.
He probably one of the most underrated, unsung leading men of all time.
Yes.
Because when you think about leading men, you start naming off like, oh, we got Tom Cruise, like, oh, George Clooney, which I don't like him at all. I've never a big fan of George Clooney.
Ocean 11, was great.
You have great guy like old school Clint Eastwood, Kurt Russell, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all these people that, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
You can start naming off all these people that were, top-notch stars, but Val Kilmer's name does not come up that often, which is bullshit because he is one of the best of all time. And some of the movies I've watched the most, like Top Gun, how many times have you seen it?
Both versions? Hundreds.
Just the first one.
The first one? Oh, man. I would say, without any exaggeration, over 50.
Yeah, I was going to say right around 50 times I've seen it, probably.
Yeah. If it's on, like back when I had cable, no matter where it was in a movie,
oh yeah,
I finish it.
Partials, I'm probably definitely around. Partials.
Yeah,
where you watch half of it or a quarter of it. So I want to give a shout out to somebody I went to high school with.
Okay,
his name's James Tolan.
All right, James.
So I haven't talked to him in 25, 30 years. I don't know, but in high school. During the time of Top Gun.
Yeah.
And for years afterwards, this guy would wear a flight jacket.
Oh.
He had his hair was blonde. He would have it spiked up just like the Iceman. This guy, we called him the Iceman. I think 10 years ago, every birthday his on Facebook, for like 2 or 3 years, I go, happy birthday, Iceman. Because now he's bald like us, but back then he had blonde hair and he had it in a flat top, that Iceman look. He had the flight jacket on. He was an Iceman fan. So
he was a definition of cool in that movie.
Oh, he was. He was everything you want in like a bad guy and a movie star because he was the antagonist of Tom Cruise, but then at the end, they're like, you can be my wingman anytime, you can be mine.
I love you,
there's and then as we saw in his final film, Top Gun Maverick. There was that connection there, and he was such a good guy, and he always looked out for Tom Cruise, how they played it, throughout the years, because they were enemies and they were competitive enemies, I guess you could say. They're still on the same team, but they were trying to win. They were the two best.
Oh, yeah.
And so Top Gun definitely influenced. The first time I saw it, I had another friend who used to always play Top Secret.
Top Secret was the first movie
he loved that movie more than anything, So, our stream is a little slow here today. We're having some glitching.
Yeah.
So, I saw my hand. I thought I was in a martial arts comp.
You're in the Matrix,
like Bruce Lee.
Yeah. You're just pony up.
I looked and I just saw my hand going. But
cheap bastard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm teasing.
I'm paying ridiculous
amount for
the Wi-Fi here. It doesn't even
work. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi again. How do you like that? Just to make sure.
That's a good idea, Brad. Every once in a while, you have a banger. I forgot about that. So Top Secret. Definitely saw that a bunch of times.
One of the funniest movies by the makers of Airplane. Chocolate Mousse was like the head of the French Resistance, which I still find great. Like the cow. We got made love by the other cow.
I gotta go back and watch it again. It's been so many years. You said that, and I'm like, oh yeah,
what's going on? Blah blah blah. We're the French Resistance. My name is Chocolate Mousse.
Yeah, so that was the first time I ever saw Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
and then you get like Real Genius, Top Secret,
another one,
and then you go, then he starts doing like serious roles.
Yeah,
like I thought of Val Kilmer for a while there before Top Gun. All I thought about was Top Secret, him being goofy and whatever,
Yeah.
And then you see him in Top Gun, you're like, oh crap, that's the guy from he does not look the same. He does not act the same because he was an actor and he was great. So
he's been in a lot more movies like I realized. We were going through his it's just updating. It's not
all right, good.
Have faith in my old computer.
See, it's still glitching, man. It's not like it's not. Hopefully, we don't look really weird and when this goes
any more than normal.
So like we watch ourselves while we're doing this. We have our screen up and we are glitching bad where we're just like going in slow motion. Hopefully the voice at least comes through good. So I want to go there. I want to just kind of go through some of his movies. So I wrote down all of his top movies, the movies that everybody knows. Mm-hmm. So I went obviously Top Gun, probably his biggest movie of all time. In my opinion, his greatest performance was in Tombstone as Doc Holliday.
Yes.
That was, and even like we were talking before, his memoir was named I'm Your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
You know, because he was so good in that. He was Doc Holliday. When I think of Doc Holliday, like I've read about Doc Holliday and who he was and stuff. But when I think of Doc Holliday, I just think of him.
Yeah.
You know, that was Doc Holliday in a historical thing. He played that character and it was him. It was like you can read about all stuff and he was different than what probably the real Doc Holliday was.
What he had syphilis or something like tuberculosis. That's it. Like only him could be that pale, sickly, and look that much of a badass at the same time.
The little liners that they had in there, like "You're a daisy if you do," "In my prime," you know, when he does the whole shot glass thing,
with the little coffee mug or whatever,
with Johnny Ringo, it was great. I swear this pod's we're gonna be in here doing this, and it's like the screen's blacking out.
Look, this might be only an Apple podcast. We don't know.
Yeah, we might not do a YouTube for this one.
You're gonna see behind the curtains because I'm gonna close this one little. See it left. See
right it keeps there. Popping up and going away. I think because the Wi-Fi is.
All right. Well, those who are watching on YouTube got a close look at my my emergency glasses because my son broke my other one. So wearing the backups. If I look a little bit more sexy, that's why.
All right, off of you and back to Val Kilmer. Willow. Mad Mardigan and Willow, another one of my all-time favorites.
Yep.
Heat. A lot of people love Heat. Oh, I liked it. It wasn't one of my favorites, but
the gun scene at the end.
It was awesome. It just wasn't one of my favorites of his. The Ghost in the Darkness is one of my favorites with him and Michael Douglas, where they were big game hunters and they were hunting these two man-killing lions, and it's based on a real story.
Yep,
I love that. I own that movie on VHS still. I have all my VHS stored in a big container.
Yeah,
and a big plastic.
You got to go find a VCR.
Ghost in the Dark. I have two VCRs. Hey man, I stay prepared, brother. If there's like an EMP burst or something, you know.
Well, I'm watching.
Streaming's knocked out. I got DVDs and videos.
PI
hell yeah. Batman Forever.
Yep.
Not one of my favorite Batman movies, but I think that he played it pretty well.
Better than
way better than George
Clooney. Yeah.
George Clooney sucked. Thunderheart, one of my all-time favorites. There was something I got connected with when I watched Thunderheart.
Yep.
My family does have quite a bit of American Indian blood in us. And I don't know, I watched Thunderheart and I was just like...
Spoke to you?
It spoke to me. It was such a good movie. And he was such a great actor. And that's why we're doing this pod today. It's just because we both have so much respect for him and we saw that he died. You know, it was like, oh, man. But... one of my favorites, The Doors, not one of my favorites, but he was amazing in it.
He was amazing in it.
Real Genius, we already went over. True Romance.
True Romance.
He was in True Romance. The Real McCoy with Kim Basinger. Do you ever watch that? I liked that movie.
I haven't seen
I remember I worked at the video store when that movie came out, and I watched that multiple times. A movie that I really liked.
Real Genius, so good.
Oh, yeah. A movie I really liked, underrated. Yeah. The Saint.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
I don't think it was underrated.
Yeah.
It was underrated. It didn't blow up like it should have. It was a successful, but it wasn't as good as...
I'll tell you an underrated movie. I bet it's not on your list. It's called The Thaw. It's kind of like an early aughts scary movie that I watched like 1,000 times, you know, like on a Saturday. Yes. About like they pull up this creepy, you know, animal from the ice, you know, and like there's
sure it wasn't
bugs.
called. You sure it wasn't called The Thing?
No, it's clearly after The Thing, but he is like this.
I've not heard of it. I did not watch The Thaw.
See, I told you, underrated. If you like those scary, creepy bug movies.
Underrated or not very good.
Well, that's true. It is.
Because Val did have a period of time.
This was
where he made a bunch of lower budget movies.
That would qualify.
After his heyday.
That would qualify. He's just cashing in the checks, but it's still a good movie. Yes. If you like the scary bugs.
Yeah. Red Planet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. With the killer thing on Mars.
Mars, yep. Obviously, Top Gun Maverick, his last role.
Yeah.
Which I teared. I was in the movie theater. I had tears in my eyes when I was watching that scene.
He's typing it out.
Obviously, we already talked about Top Secret. So this group of movies that I wrote down were all kind of his top ones. You know, top box office, the most well known. It's not The Thaw, but you know.
But I mean, he's been in. I had no idea.
He was in an episode of Psych.
Yeah. He was in MacGruber.
Which is it's my son's favorite show of all time. He was in MacGruber. Yep. I read everything, but I went down and just did his bangers.
Alexander, which is the one that I watch all the time. The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is like just the craziest stories he got off that one.
That was a shitty movie.
I
was all excited about that because Val Kilmer was in it, and then I watched it and I go, I did not like that one. But I mean, they can't all be, you know, great.
Yeah, it is just the amount of movies he's been in. Felon, I've seen that. I've seen The Snowman. I've seen Thunderheart. All right.
I've
seen The Planes.
All right. Stop reading all the low budget.
I'm just reading the ones that I've seen.
Stick with the big ones, man.
See, The Thaw, 2009.
Jesus, that was during his phase of before 2015 is when he got throat cancer. Yeah. And that's where he had a procedure for his trachea that damaged his vocal cords where he could hardly talk. That's why in Top Gun he could barely, you know, say lines. Plus, as we know, you know, he's about 4 years from his death. You know,
he was in some crappy movies too. Not gonna lie, Knight Rider, the remake of Knight Rider, Wyatt Earp's Revenge, Gun. Yeah, no, they all can't be. All can't be hits.
My friend, you see all these names?
Yeah.
That's why you write these down. We're honoring the man, not trying to bring up all of his flops and failures.
You got to honor the man by saying that, like the rest of us.
Why didn't you spit on his grave then? The Thaw.
The Thaw was good.
Felon. Spit on his grave each time you say one of those.
But some of the other ones,
good Lord.
Well, Val, you know, you do your best.
All right, let's reset for a second, everybody. Don't listen to Brad.
Okay.
Don't listen to what he's saying. Top Gun. Tombstone, Willow, Heat, The Ghost in the Darkness, Batman Forever,
good movie,
Thunderheart, The Doors, Real Genius, True Romance, The Real McCoy, The Saint, Red Planet, Top Gun Maverick, and Top Secret. All right, there we go. No more talk about him making some money doing low budget films.
Look, The Thaw is good. You could put that in there. The rest of them,
no, nobody ever heard of The Thaw.
Knight Rider.
There's like five people that heard of The Thaw.
Yeah,
and you're one of them because you like to watch those type of movies.
I do love.
But we just want to honor him because he affected our childhood, our teenage years.
Oh, yeah,
he was a huge part of those things. So I've seen Tombstone at least 30 to 40 times.
I thought college was going to be like Real Genius. Yeah, like just you're in a dorm and you're like, you know, making dry ice and taking a car apart and putting it in the dean's room. I mean, I couldn't wait.
It was so good. No, you just think back. I think back to my friends where you'd watch these things.
Yeah.
Like Tombstone. I don't know. You didn't live around here, but back in the day, there was a discount kind of theater.
Yeah.
Over at Birdcage. It was the Birdcage Walk Theater, like cinema or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could go on certain nights and it'd be like $250 or whatever. I was in college or whatever. So me and my friends drove over from Sac State area over to Birdcage to watch Tombstone because it was cheap. Because two of my friends lived kind of close to Birdcage.
Yeah.
And then we lived further away, but they're like, let's go over and watch Tombstone. And so I saw it at the theater.
I'm in.
And I was like, that movie was badass. And Kurt Russell, awesome in it.
Good mustache.
Loved him in it. But let's be honest, Val Kilmer steals the show.
He stole the show.
I mean, the scenes that when he walks up on Johnny Ringo and they have the final gun battle, when he walks up, he goes, "I'm your Huckleberry." Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most classic scenes in movies. I don't care how big of a movie thing you are. I like
everyone
Academy
knows
Award winning this. One of the most iconic scenes of all time.
Everyone knows that. I'll be your Huckleberry. They all know where that comes from.
I have a shirt that says "Say When." Yeah. With a
and you didn't wear it.
I didn't. I forgot.
Damn, Casey.
Coming to work today. Hey, I come to work. I get here at 5:40 in the morning.
Excuses. You clean up all my mess. Yeah. We know.
If you were here last night, I would have to clean up all your mess. But anyway, I have two shirts. I have I'm your Huckleberry, and then I have one with a pistol on it. Yeah. It says "Say When," because he's like he'd just be sitting there like going "Say when" and just tickling the thing. Oh yeah, I that level of bravado and confidence in his abilities.
The guy spinning the gun, and everyone's woo, and then he gets his little
shot glass.
Yep. And he spins his little glass and he just puts it in. And he always looks like he's about to faint. Like he's just covered in pale sweat.
Yep. And right at the time, and when Red Planet came out, there was another Mars movie.
Yes.
I forget what it was called.
It was the one with they think they found the human DNA. And they go there and they found that the aliens left Mars and populated Earth. And the thing,
which is a theory of a lot of ancient alien.
That was a time where they would always make like two of the same movies. Like you had the two asteroid movies.
Yeah, like one movie theater or one movie company would go, production company would say we're making a Mars movie, and then another one would go, you are, so are we.
Yeah, who can release it first? Because you would have
Red Planet did come out first.
Yeah,
I remember. I think Red Planet came out first.
To me, that was the better.
And it was my favorite. I thought Red Planet was a better movie.
Yeah, me too. Because they had that killer robot chasing him through the Red Planet, which I thought was just perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a weird time in movies. We're like, you're going to make an Ant movie with what's his name? Not Harrelson, the other Woody. We're going to make an Ant movie. And so you had two Ant movies, two asteroid movies, two Mars movies, just back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
But one had Val, and it was a better movie.
That's in my
Killer
opinion,
Rover.
Definitely, yes. And
I own them both.
His portrayal of Batman, I would have to say, was underrated.
It's good. That was right before he went super camp. That was like the last semi-serious Batman.
Because he really played the Bruce Wayne role really good.
Yeah.
The Batman part, all right. But he was suave. He had that look.
Yep.
When he was dealing with when Nicole Kidman was the woman in it, I believe. He was just a smooth operator as Bruce Wayne. And then, he has his alter ego. And he was okay. Yeah. They had the goofy costumes.
But they didn't go full George Clooney. Like this was...
No, they didn't have the nipples and all that. But, it was all right.
It's still rated high.
I'm still... so I was I was thinking about this as I was going, this weekend I'm going to watch some Val Kilmer movies. Yeah. So I was like, what am I going to watch? And I was going, I haven't watched Batman Forever in years.
Yeah.
So I may watch Batman Forever, but I'm definitely going to watch Thunderheart and Ghost in the Darkness.
Ghost in the Darkness is a really good movie.
I love that movie.
I remember watching that when I was a kid, and it scared me to death.
Oh yeah, those freaking lions.
Man,
they were scared.
I mean, they're out in the savannah, and they're like,
and I was a hunter.
Yeah, bloodthirsty lion.
I always say I feel really comfortable out in the woods, with my rifle. It's like I don't feel comfortable in the ocean.
Yes, it was like Jaws, but in the savannah.
Yeah,
like you got these lions who tasted man eaters,
and they're super smart, and they're worked together, and when you think you got one and the other one's on top. It's so good. If you have not seen The Ghost in the Darkness, it's highly underrated.
Very.
I think it was successful, but it wasn't like one of his big. It wasn't one of those big Hollywood blockbusters.
No,
it was a very good movie. I think it made a decent amount of money. It was one of those ones I got on Columbia House. You know, when you used to have the Columbia House, and you would you would get a bunch. You would get all these movies for a penny, and then you'd have to buy like 5 more in the future. And then hardly anybody ever bought the 5 more.
It's one of those movies like when we were talking about the Magnum PI guy,
Tom Selleck.
Yeah, and all the movies he did. The one where he like flew to China was a Highway to China.
High Road to China.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's not like as well known, but you can go back and watch it. Holds up. Like it's all very well acted. It's
good acting.
I could watch
period piece.
Yeah, it is really well done.
And Ghost in the Darkness is a period piece.
Yeah,
they're building. They're out there hunting these lines because they're building the railroad in Africa.
Yeah.
The British Empire is building a railroad, through Africa, and these lions are killing all the workers. So they bring these hunters in.
I'm remembering more and more of it.
Oh, it was so good. I'm gonna go back and watch that. I might watch The Real McCoy again too.
Look, you have a lot of movies to watch.
I haven't seen it in a while. I know I got a lot of work. The weather's going to be beautiful here in California.
But
70 degrees.
We were talking last night about the '80s sports movies.
I got to finish all the right moves because I was like looking at making like a list of those.
Yeah, so good because we got to do a podcast.
Because we're going to do a podcast on that too. So, but when you think back, when you look at Top Gun, literally in Top Gun Maverick, 2 of the most iconic movies of all time.
Yeah.
And 2 of the biggest money makers of all time. And everybody thinks about Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, Iceman, he didn't play second fiddle to anybody in that movie. Obviously Tom Cruise is the primary person, but there's a lot of people that liked Iceman a whole lot better than like Tom Cruise.
Well, we know your schoolmate did.
Maverick. Yeah. People were drawn to that character that he did.
He was so good looking. I remember I had blonde hair back then. I'm like, why can't my blonde hair be as that cool looking as his?
Just such a good movie. And then you took a Top Gun Maverick. I mean, the emotions that you bring to it as a kid of the 80s, when you get Top Gun and you see Iceman sitting there and like struggling with his health. Yeah. And when you and I think about it, when you really look at it, he died at 65. He's 12 years older than us.
I know.
But neither one of us have had throat cancer either, and chemotherapy and
thus far. Fingers crossed.
But we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. We've got time. So 2015 is when he had throat cancer.
Yeah.
And they botched the procedure when they were doing it and damaged his vocal cords. And so he's been dealing with health issues ever since 2015. So, I mean, he made it a good solid 10 years, but then pneumonia, and that kills most people, to be honest,
When you get
pneumonia and heart attacks or something, and sometimes you may go into the hospital with a heart attack or stroke, and then you get sick and get pneumonia in the hospital. And because the hospitals, I always make a joke because I hate hospitals. I hate going to hospitals. I'll go if I have to. I'm not one of those dummies who goes, I'm not going. Oh, I can't feel my left arm's going. I'm going to go to the fucking hospital. But like, when I go to the hospital and you see all the sick people in the lobby and you're going in because something else, they're like going, I'm going to get sick. Like, God damn it. You're going to get sick from something else that you're not going in for. So I was really moved by the Maverick scene with him.
Yep.
And how they played his character, how he had looked out for Maverick all these years and covered his ass. And
I was moved when he stood up and he stopped typing and he spoke with his
limited voice. Yeah.
Like, God damn it, Iceman, you got me.
I literally teared up. I really did.
I want to bring up one thing too. Now Val Kilmer was like, he's famous for diving deep into his roles. Mm-hmm. Like, he is one of those method actors.
You believe him.
Eccentric, yeah. And the thing that I loved about the bank heist scene in Heat was that he did so well loading his weapon, finding places to shoot, that multiple agencies and some military things use that scene of how to load your gun, how to like crouch and shoot over stuff, because he got so involved in how to make it look authentic.
You know who else does that?
They were like, he's doing it perfect.
Yep, they're like, we can't make a training video any better than watching this guy move from place to place while loading his gun and keeping cover.
Yeah.
In the situation. You know who else gets so deep in and does all those technical things too? Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that's right.
He is technically sound at whatever. He practices
martial arts. Those gun range
practices guns, going out and shooting the guns. That's why John Wick is so realistic.
Yeah.
Because this guy is full on doing all this shit and practicing all this shit.
Yeah, would not want to mess with either one of them. But I just wanted to bring that up. He's so good.
Heat is all, in my opinion, like I watched Heat and I liked it all right.
Yeah.
But that one gunfight scene makes that whole movie.
It does. It makes the whole movie.
The movie's a slow
burn movie.
It's a very slow movie. I remember watching it going, damn, this is a slow movie. But man, when you get done watching that gunfight, you go, oh shit. All right, that was awesome.
I'll be truthful. There's been times where I have fast forwarded a lot of parts of Heat just to get to the gunfight.
That's why I watched it one time and I never watched it again because I just
so well done. Of getting out of there. God bless you, Val. But we wanted to do this small one and get it out today.
Yes.
Just because he was somebody who we both, Casey and I, absolutely loved.
Just highly
loved his movies. He was a huge part of our kids' memory, teenage years, adulthood. Like we grew up with him. We grew up with his movies.
Oh yeah. And then my kids have grown up with some of his movies.
Yeah.
Both my kids are well versed in Top Gun.
Yeah, well, God, if you're not a good parent, otherwise,
both my kids have watched.
You would have kicked them out
multiple times, and they've watched Tombstone a bunch of times because in my living room,
you would have kicked your son out of.
Brad
your house.
Doesn't know because he's not allowed in my house, but
I've been in your house twice. Your dog loves me,
but he rarely is in there.
Yeah,
but on my wall, I have my TV.
Yes,
which I'll be honest, Brad recommended the brand and the size, and so I got
good
that
TV,
one. My
right?
last, yeah. And on each side, one is of Gus McCrae and Woodrow F. Call from Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
A picture. A framed, like a wraparound vinyl picture. Yeah. And the other one is The Ride of the Immortals from Tombstone.
I tell you, Casey's house is just a testament to manliness. All right.
Well, I haven't had, no woman has lived in that house.
Yeah, there's no touch of woman. It is like I walk in and I'm like, I could see why your son would never want to leave because anywhere else he's going to go will not be as cool. I mean, you have the coolest dog. You have the coolest house. You have the coolest Christmas decorations. You have everything is just cool. And then I
don't know if I'd say it's the coolest house, but it's definitely, a man lives in the house.
Yeah, I felt my testosterone raised 300 points as soon as I walk in and I just was like, let's squat. Yeah,
but
very, very good.
But what I'm saying is two of my favorite all-time movies, like Lonesome Dove, and Tombstone, because they're westerns, and I love westerns. Like Brad loves apocalyptic movies and zombie movies. I love westerns, and so up on next to the TV and in the living room is those. Now, my wife goes through all In my house, those won't be up on TV, but I'm not married. I'm not like she hasn't lived in that house.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm sure she watches like
when we got married, she was like, "Yeah, all this decor in here
you're
is
gonna need a man shack or something."
I go, all right, I'm just gonna hang it all up out in the barn. And she was like, maybe,
maybe.
So, but So anyway, we wanted to get this out and just show our respect to Val Kilmer. Rest in peace. And I'll be watching some of his movies this weekend to honor him, maybe even tonight.
Yeah.
Because when I started reading through all his movies, I was like, because there's all the ones I know and I watch already.
Yeah.
Like every couple, I watch Tombstone probably every year and a half.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I
watch it all the time.
Time to watch it.
All the time.
That's the weird thing about not having regular TV anymore and streaming services is you can't just flip to the channel.
You can't flip to see it on.
Tombstone's on. Oh, Top Gun's on. Oh,
that's the thing.
Wayne's World's on. And you watch 35 minutes of it.
Always, all the time.
Yeah, and I don't do that anymore because I don't have regular live TV. It's all streaming services.
Yeah, me too.
So I got to go out of my way to watch it. Plus, I own it on DVD too.
Yeah. But there's something about just flipping and seeing it on.
Yeah, there was always something. I watched a lot of movies I love and just kept watching them. I can't even tell you before there was Disney Plus and all that, Star Wars would be on, one of the networks, and it'd be like, oh, crap, Star Wars is on. Let me watch the next.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I have to go do this. Oh,
TNT.
Well, I don't think I need to mow the lawn today.
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch Star Wars. They're having a marathon.
Yeah.
Oh, even though I own it and it's sitting right there on the shelf, I still watch it.
I just want to watch this one scene 3 movies later.
Real Genius. Maybe I'm going to watch it. It's been a long time since I watched Real Genius. And Top Secret.
Top Secret, I could watch every day. It's like
I've seen Top Secret at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Chocolate Mousse.
You know when I saw it almost every single time though?
Yeah.
Was over at my friend's house who loved it.
Oh, I mean,
he had it on almost every time I went over there.
It is one of the funniest movies that never get old. Like people who love like that slapstick nonstop jokes.
Probably 6 or 7 years ago, I just popped it in, maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah. Oh, it still holds up.
I popped it in and like loved it. I was just like, oh crap, I forgot about it. Oh, no, you cannot make it.
It is clearly a time of the early 80s.
A bunch of woke people going.
Yeah, it is not for the faint of heart.
It is raw. There's some good stuff in there.
But you can't go wrong with Chocolate Mousse.
No.
As a French black guy.
And the 2 movies I recommend if you haven't seen them, because a lot of people have seen Top Gun, Tombstone, Willow, Heat. But the 2 movies I would recommend is Ghost in the Darkness and Thunderheart.
Yep.
Those are 2 movies that were popular. They were big. They were big budget movies, not unlike Thaw. And they were big budget movies that were well done. Great. It's like Sam Waterston, I think, not Waterston, Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
Was the agent that helped him in there.
Yeah.
Graham Greene, the Indian in every 80s movie.
Yep.
Was in there.
You need an Indian? We got the guy.
Yeah, it was like about a killing on a reservation.
Yeah.
A murder on a reservation.
I remember.
So it's both of those 2 movies, Ghost in the Darkness, Thunderheart. If you're going to pick 2 movies you haven't seen of his and watch them this weekend, watch those. Because most of the other ones we said are pretty well known, like the Batman. Who hasn't seen Batman Forever? You know, very few people. So maybe all the youngins. But if you're like, a little older and you haven't seen those movies, watch those. Watch Thaw if you
feel like Scary Bugs.
If you have a whole 48 hours on a weekend to not do anything, watch Thaw. But if you only have time in the evening to watch a couple movies, Thunderheart, Ghost in the Darkness, you will not be disappointed.
Well, let's wrap this up so I can post it.
You got it. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Love you.
We're out.
Out.